Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings podcast. Artificial intelligence is showing up almost everywhere now, and genealogy is no exception. It is being used for transcriptions, translations, document summaries, handwriting, recognition, search tools, and even writing projects. That can be exciting, especially for those of us who have spent long hours trying to read a faded church record, sort through a stack of inherited family papers, or make sense of a file that looked promising but felt overwhelming. At the same time, AI brings real concerns. It can save time, but it can also create confusion. It can help us spot clues, but it can also present guesses in a way that sounds polished and certain. It can open doors, but it can also lead people into bad habits if they start trusting it too quickly. That is why the real question is not whether AI belongs in genealogy. It already does. The better question is how to use it in a way that strengthens our research instead of weakening it. The good news is that AI does not have to be feared, and it does not have to be treated like a miracle either. It needs to be handled the same way we handle every other research aid, with curiosity, caution, and a clear understanding of what it can and cannot do. Anyone who has spent time doing family history research can understand the appeal of AI right away. Genealogy includes a lot of work that is rewarding, but it can also be slow and tiring. We read handwriting that seems almost impossible to follow. We work with records written in languages we do not know. We study long probate packets, pension files, court papers, deeds, cemetery records, newspapers, and letters that may contain valuable clues buried deep inside pages of text. Sometimes the challenge is not finding the record. Sometimes the challenge is getting useful information out of it. That is where AI can feel like such a welcome helper. It can give a rough transcription of a handwritten page. It can offer a translation of a foreign language record. It can summarize a long document so you know where to start. It can point out names, dates, places, occupations, and relationships that deserve a closer look. For anyone with folders full of hard-to-read records or family items that have been sitting untouched for years, that kind of help can feel like a breakthrough. There is also a practical side to it. Many genealogists are working with more material than ever before. Digital collections keep growing. Families are scanning old papers and sharing them. Photos and letters are being passed down. Online databases make it easier to gather records quickly, but that also means we can end up with more material than we can comfortably review. AI can help with that first layer of organization and access. That is why people are drawn to it. It offers speed. It offers a starting point. It offers help with tasks that have always taken a lot of time. The problem begins when AI output is treated as fact without being checked. That can happen fast because AI often sounds confident. It may give a clear answer, a neat summary, or a polished paragraph that looks trustworthy. But confidence is not proof. A misread name can place a record in the wrong family. A wrong date can shift someone into the wrong generation. A mistaken place can send research into the wrong county or even the wrong country. A guest relationship can create an entirely false branch in a family tree. These errors do not always look obvious at first. In fact, they often look convincing. That is one of the biggest dangers with AI and genealogy. It can be wrong in a smooth and believable way. If a researcher copies that error into notes, a tree, or an article without checking it, the mistake starts spreading. Once that happens, it becomes harder to fix because it begins to look established. Context is another major issue. AI may read the words correctly and still misunderstand what those words mean. A legal phrase in an old probate file may have a specific meaning in that time and place. A relationship named in a letter may be informal instead of literal. A place name may refer to an older boundary, not the modern one. Genealogy depends on context, not just text. The best role for AI is to help with the first pass. Let it help you read the document. Let it help with translation. Let it help surface clues. Then do the actual genealogical analysis yourself. That approach keeps the record at the center. It also keeps the researcher in control. AI may help turn a difficult image into readable text. It may point out occupations, neighbors, witnesses, places, or family connections. It may even help summarize a long file, so you know where to focus first. All of that can be useful. None of it removes the need for review. This is where good genealogy habits still matter. A clue is not proof. One record is not a full conclusion. A neat summary is not the same as evidence. AI can help uncover information, but it cannot take responsibility for what belongs in your family history. That responsibility still belongs to the researcher. A few basic rules can keep AI useful without letting it take over the work. Compare every important point against the original source. If AI gives you a transcription, check it carefully. If it gives you a translation, make sure the key details fit the context of the record. If it offers a summary, go back and confirm the names, dates, places, and relationships for yourself. Treat AI output as a lead, not a conclusion. If the tool points out a maiden name, migration clue, military detail, or possible family connection, that may be helpful. It still needs support from the record itself and often from other records as well. Be honest when AI has been part of the process. If you use it to create a transcription, summarize a file, or help draft a family history sketch, make note of that in your research process. That protects your work and makes it easier to retrace your steps later. Think carefully before uploading personal family material. Old historical documents may feel safe to use, but papers involving living relatives or private family information deserve more caution. These are not complicated rules. They are really an extension of the same careful habits good genealogists should already be using. Some parts of AI output should always be checked closely. Names should always be verified, because old handwriting, spelling variation, and abbreviations can easily cause confusion. Dates should always be verified because one wrong number can change the whole timeline. Places should always be verified because boundaries change. Towns can share names, and old jurisdictions do not always match modern maps. Relationships should always be verified because words like son, cousin, aunt, or brother are not always used in a precise modern way. Source details should always be verified because a conclusion is only as good as the evidence behind it. These points are not minor details. They are the framework of sound genealogy. If they are wrong, the conclusion built on them may be wrong too. One area that deserves extra caution is writing. AI can help draft ancestor sketches, family summaries, and article content quickly. That can be useful, especially when the goal is to make research more readable for relatives. A rough draft can save time and help organize what the records show. The problem is that AI writing can blur the line between fact and interpretation. It may smooth over gaps in the evidence. It may make guesses sound settled. It may describe motives, feelings, or life details that the records do not actually prove. That does not mean AI should never help with writing. It means the writing still has to be reviewed like any other draft. The facts need to be checked. The wording needs to stay accurate. When the evidence is uncertain, the writing should show that uncertainty clearly. Good genealogy writing should never sound more certain than the records allow. A careful workflow can make AI genuinely useful without letting it take over. Start with the original document or image. Use AI to create a first transcription, translation, or summary. Compare that output to the source and correct anything weak or unclear. Pull out the evidence that is directly supported. Add those details to your notes with proper source information. Then compare them with other records before changing your tree or writing a conclusion. This process keeps the researcher in charge. It also reduces the biggest risk, which is copying an AI answer into permanent research before it has been tested. That is how errors begin to multiply. A wrong AI reading copied into a tree can quickly turn into a wrong hint, a wrong online conclusion, or a wrong family story. Once that happens, it starts to affect other work. Careful review at the start is much easier than repairing bad information later. Some genealogists are excited about AI. Others are skeptical. Both reactions make sense. But caution should not be confused with fear. Careful use is not resistance to technology. It is just good research practice. Genealogy has always required people to question what they find. Indexes can be wrong. Transcriptions can be wrong. Family stories can be wrong. Even official records can be wrong. AI belongs in that same category. It can be helpful and flawed at the same time. That is actually a useful way to think about it. Genealogists do not need a whole new research philosophy because of AI. They need to apply the same standards they should already be using. Read closely, compare records, track your reasoning, cite your evidence. Be honest about uncertainty. Avoid conclusions that go beyond what the records support. AI does not change those rules. It makes them even more important. This conversation matters now because AI is moving quickly into mainstream genealogy. It is no longer sitting off to the side as a novelty. It is becoming part of the regular research environment. More genealogists are going to run into AI-generated transcriptions, summaries, search tools, and writing, whether they go looking for them or not. That means the real question is no longer whether AI belongs in genealogy. The real question is how to use it without lowering research standards. Used carefully, AI can help family historians get through more records, spot overlooked clues, and make old material easier to work with. Used carelessly, it can spread confident-sounding error into notes, trees, and publish family histories. That is why the right response is neither blind trust nor total rejection. It is disciplined use. Here are my final thoughts. The right way to use AI in genealogy research is to keep it in its proper place. Let it assist. Let it speed up the first pass. Let it help you read, translate, summarize, and organize. Do not let it replace your judgment. Family history is still built on records, context, comparison, and proof. No tool changes that. A useful AI feature may help you see the clues faster, but it cannot take responsibility for the conclusion. That still belongs to the researcher. The genealogists who benefit most from AI will likely be the ones who use it with care. They will let it help with the heavy lifting, but they will still test what it says against the records. They will treat it as a tool, not a shortcut. That is the balance that keeps genealogy strong. Most of all, AI is most useful when it helps us do what good genealogy has always required. Read carefully, think clearly, and follow the evidence where it leads. If you've got a hard-to-find ancestor you're stuck on, I'd love to hear about it. Just head over to ancestralfindings.com and click on Contact to send me a message. While you're there, take advantage of our free weekly genealogy lookups. Explore thousands of articles and enjoy hundreds of podcast episodes. We've been helping family history researchers since 1995. And if you're looking for even more, check out our Genealogy Gold Q&A series over on Patreon. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy searching.